Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a forgotten bunker buried below the Himalayas, a machine blinked awake. It had been offline for 93 years. Dust covered its screens. Rust crept along its metal shell. But the moment Wraith of Earth activated, this machine, simply called Sentinel Mode 0, lit up with red warning lights. ALE Art. Prototype Warship Online. Designation: Wraith E01. Captain: Jake Murphy. Alive. Inside the bunker, a single figure opened their eyes. She had been in cryo sleep, her body frozen in time. Her name was Commander Ayla Wren, former head of Earth's Black Fleet. And she had one job. If the Wraith ever woke, she would lead what came next. She sat up, gasping, eyes wide. "The war's not over," she whispered. In space, Jake Murphy stared at the wreckage of the Cathmar fleet. His hands were shaking slightly now. The fight was over, but the memories were flooding back. The screams, the deaths, the fire. The Wraith's AI spoke in his head, calm, emotionless. "You were efficient, 172 confirmed kills. 0 damage sustained." Jake rubbed his face, suddenly feeling old again. "That's not the point. Survival is the point." Jake didn't respond. He opened the comms channel to Earth again. Still silent. No reply. The Galactic Council had said they would protect frontier worlds, that humans were safe under the peace treaty. But when Vidian Prime was attacked, no one came. He had come. One man, one ship. Now the Council would notice him. He was sure of it. And they did. Inside the Council core, a massive ring-shaped space station floating at the center of galactic politics, the emergency meeting had begun. Delegates from over 60 species argued in panic. "He destroyed the Cathmar fleet alone," one shouted. "That ship should have been dismantled centuries ago." Another barked. An older alien, tall and insect-like, stood calmly in the center. Ambassador Zeltrak, of the Threneri. Cold, calculating, dangerous. "We always feared this would happen," he said. "You gave the humans peace, and they built monsters in secret." A hologram of Wraith of Earth hovered in the middle of the chamber, rotating slowly. Its surface shimmered like black liquid. No visible engines, no radiation signature, just a void in the shape of a weapon. "We need to act before it spreads," Zeltrak continued. "If Earth has more of these ships..." "Earth is protected," interrupted the human delegate. "You signed the treaty." Zeltrak hissed. "Then you broke it." Meanwhile, Jake Murphy landed the Wraith on a secret asteroid base he once used during the war. It had fuel, food, and most importantly, privacy. He powered down the ship and sat in the dark cockpit, thinking. He hadn't meant to start anything, just to stop a massacre. But now the whole galaxy was awake. He was no longer hiding. He was a symbol. Back on Earth, Commander Ayla Wren stood before a massive steel vault. Soldiers surrounded her, quiet, elite, and hidden from public view. She scanned her palm. The vault hissed open. Inside were blueprints, cryopods, data crystals, and at the center, a second ship, unfinished, damaged. "Wraith E02. I never thought we'd need you again," she said softly. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Dara, stepped forward. "Should we inform EarthGov?" Ayla shook her head. "No, they'd shut us down, just like last time. We go dark, full ghost protocol." She looked up at the stars. Jake Murphy just lit a fire, and we're going to fan the flames. On the edge of Council space, the Cathmar were not finished. Admiral Starr was gone, but the Empire remained. And among the wreckage, something stirred. A small black box, floating in space, opened. Inside it, something blinked. A whisper too faint for normal sensors. "Wraith detected. Code gray." Then it vanished. Jake Murphy dreamed of the past. In his nightmare, he stood on a burning space station. His squad was dead. A child screamed behind a locked door. He ran, but too late. The airlock opened. The void swallowed them. He woke up sweating. The ship was quiet. The stars outside were still. He walked into the main chamber of the Wraith. The AI had built a hologram map of the system. Red dots, enemy ships. Blue dots, friendly colonies. One yellow dot blinking far away. Jake frowned. What's that? Unidentified signal. Earth origin. Location. Himalaya vault. His heart skipped. No one's used that place in decades. Signal repeating. You are being summoned. On Earth, Ayla's message was short. Murphy, if you're alive, you're not alone. Earth remembers. Jake stared at the words for a long time. They didn't come with fleets. They didn't send warnings. The architects arrived in silence. A black sphere appeared just beyond Pluto's orbit, -30 kilometers wide. No lights, no windows. It didn't respond to hails. It didn't fire weapons. But everywhere it passed, satellites died. Sensors turned to static. Machines forgot how to work. The Galactic Council panicked. The Cathmar Empire, usually proud and arrogant, begged for information. Earth said nothing. Because deep down, Earth knew the truth. The architects had been here before, and they had not left peacefully. In EarthGov HQ, Jake Murphy and Commander Ayla Wren watched the footage with cold dread. The black sphere didn't move fast, but its path was deliberate. It was coming toward Earth. Jake whispered, "It's not scouting. It's remembering." Ayla looked pale. Crow was right. Earth's been hiding this. She plugged in the data drive Jake gave her. Old files played. Grainy, cracked with age. Pro-Jake heat. Contact 01. Year, 2063. Location, Lunar Base Echo. A human voice. They are not gods. They are not machines. They are something in between. And they don't want peace. The video cut to static. Ayla covered her mouth. We knew about them. Before the Council. Before we even joined galactic space. Jake nodded. And we erased it. Somewhere in deep space, the Ghost Fleet was dividing. Captain Elias Crow met with his commanders aboard Wraith E-02. There's no more denying it. Earth made contact with the architects and lied to the galaxy for 200 years. Half the captains nodded grimly. But Captain Mei Lin, the youngest among them, stood up. Maybe they lied because they had to. You saw the files. Those things hollowed entire planets. Another captain spat back. And now they're here again. What do we do? Wait for them to burn us next. The room turned quiet. Crow looked at them all. If Earth won't act, we will. On Earth's moon, a hidden facility called Vault Theta lit up. Dr. Elric Vaughn stood at the core, surrounded by tech grown from manometals and ancient blueprints. Silas Morn stood beside him, still recovering. Vaughn placed the red crystal, the beacon, into the console. System online. Signal strength. Maximum. Architect attention. Confirmed. Morn asked, "Why are they listening to us?" Vaughn didn't look up. Because we never stopped being theirs. A low hum filled the chamber. And all across Earth, sensitive humans, veterans, children, AI hybrids, began to hear whispers in their minds. Memories they never lived. Pain they never experienced. It was beginning. Commander Ayla received the first casualty reports. People collapsing. Ships crashing. AI systems rebooting without code. "Ma'am," Dara said, trembling. "It's like they're rewriting us." Ayla turned to Jake. "This isn't a war." Jake's eyes narrowed. "No, it's a reset." He clenched his fists. And Morn's helping them. On the far side of Mars, Cathmar warships watched helplessly as one of their dreadnoughts fell from orbit. No explosion, no enemy fire, just failure. The ship's computers died, its engines reversed. Gravity failed inside. Thousands died without ever knowing why. The Cathmar commander, Vraxin, sent a final desperate message to Earth. Whatever you brought, take it back. Jake, Crow, and Ayla met in secret. Jake laid out the final plan. Morn is broadcasting from Vault Theta. He's using the Architect's signal against us. Crow added, we can stop the broadcast, but only from inside the moon vault. Ayla hesitated. You'd have to land during Architect interference. Every AI system could go dark mid-flight. Jake shrugged. Then we go old school. Crow smirked. Manual flight it is. The 3-person strike team launched in a blackout ship with 0 AI and no automation. Crow piloted. Jake armed the EMP bomb. Ayla, though a commander, joined them herself. I want to see this through, she said. Jake didn't argue. Now, the galaxy needed it. He reached the moon hours later. The asteroid field around it was dense and sharp, a natural shield. Jake flew through it with ease, remembering the path like it was yesterday. The old code still worked. The moon opened. Steel doors the size of cities slid back, revealing a hangar bathed in shadows. He landed Liberty's Dawn and stepped out. His boots echoed on the metal floor. Dust floated in the air, silent, forgotten. Then he saw it. The Wraith of Earth. Sleek, black, and long as a city block. Covered in strange markings, its surface rippled slightly, like it was breathing. It wasn't just a ship. It was a weapon. A secret. A ghost. Jake walked to the control panel. The ship's eye was still offline. He placed his hand on the scanner. The machine hummed. Welcome back, Captain Murphy, said a deep human voice. Authorization confirmed. Systems waking. Lights came on slowly. Engines purred in the darkness. Jake stood still for a moment. He felt the weight of what he was about to do. He was one man in one ship against a fleet of monsters. He smiled bitterly. They'll never see it coming. Back on Vidian Prime, the Cathmar fleet had finished destroying the main cities. Star stood on the bridge, arms behind his back, satisfied. Then a message came through. Unidentified vessel approaching. Stealth mode. No ID signature. Star frowned. Show me. On the screen, a single black warship moved toward them. Slow, silent, menacing. No heat trail, the officer said. It's like it's alive. Star narrowed his eyes. Destroy it. 2 Cathmar destroyers broke formation and opened fire. The black ship didn't move. The blasts hit it and disappeared. No explosion. No damage. Then the ship responded. 1 shot. Just one. It hit both Cathmar destroyers at once. Both ships disintegrated in complete silence. Star stepped forward. What in the stars is that? The officers looked at each other. Fear crept into their faces for the first time. Jake Murphy sat in the pilot's seat of Wraith of Earth, calm and focused. The AI whispered data into his ear. The ship's neural link fused with his mind. He was the ship now. He could feel every bolt, every weapon, every part of it. Let's dance, he said. The black ship moved like a shadow, dodging plasma blasts, weaving through enemy formations. It cut through shields like paper. It vanished from sensors, reappeared behind ships, and tore them apart with invisible beams. The Cathmar fleet began to panic. Admiral Starr shouted orders. Regroup. Trap it. But it was no use. They had never faced something like this. A human warship powered by hatred, loss, and something far older than fear. Hours passed. Half the Cathmar fleet was gone. The rest began to retreat. Star's flagship stood alone. Jake opened a channel. Star's screen lit up with the face of a tired, furious man. This is for the Vidians, Jake said. Then he fired. The flagship exploded into a silent sun. Jake floated above the burning planet. He didn't cheer. He didn't cry. He just sat there, alone in the dark. He had won. But at what cost? Flames covered the skies of Vidian Prime. Bright streaks of red and blue exploded above the clouds as alien ships fired their weapons. The ground shook as buildings fell. Civilians screamed. Fighter pilots launched into the air, only to be crushed by invisible shields. It was not a battle. It was a massacre. Above the chaos, the flagship of the Cathmar Empire floated like a steel god. 5 miles long, armored in dark silver and bristling with weapons, it was a monster in space. Behind it, 200 warships waited in perfect formation, engines glowing, ready to erase life. Star, Supreme Admiral of the Cathmar, stood tall on his bridge. He had conquered hundreds of planets. His face showed no emotion as the Vidians screamed for help over open comms. "They were warned," he said coldly. "They chose to resist." "No mercy, Admiral?" asked his second-in-command. Star looked at him. "Mercy is a human word. Begin the purge." Laser storms lit up the sky. Far away on the edge of the system, a small ship floated silently behind an asteroid. It was old, rusty, and half invisible to radar. A transport ship named Liberty's Dawn. Inside, Captain Jake Murphy sat frozen in his seat, watching the destruction on his cracked display screen. He didn't breathe for a few seconds. Jake was a man in his 50s, face lined with age and loss. His brown hair had silver at the sides. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from rage. He had seen war before. He had lived it. He thought those days were over. They weren't. He reached forward slowly and turned off the video feed. Silence filled the cockpit, just the quiet hum of a dying ship and a broken man. Jake had come to deliver food and medical supplies to the Vidians. They were peaceful people. Farmers. Scientists. They didn't deserve this. He looked at the small blinking light on the dashboard, an old distress beacon. He had already sent one emergency message to the Galactic Council. No reply. He sent another. Still nothing. Jake slammed his fist against the console. "Cowards," he muttered. "They always look the other way." Then he stared at the map on his screen. A blinking dot marked a hidden location, a place he hadn't visited in 20 years. The vault, buried inside a cold, dead moon nearby, a place erased from official maps. Only a few humans even knew it existed anymore. Jake had sworn never to go back, but now he stared at the fire raining down on Vidian Prime, at the hopeless resistance, at the children who had waved to him just days ago on the landing pad. Something inside him shifted. Not fear, not duty. Resolve. He took a shaky breath and powered up the engines. "Time to wake the past," he whispered. The vault wasn't a real vault. It was a hidden military facility built during the darkest days of the human expansion wars. Inside it was a ship. A single warship designed by mad scientists, built with forbidden tech and powered by dark matter. Its name was Wraith of Earth. It was never used. Too dangerous, too unstable, too human. Jake had been its original pilot. But after the war ended, the project was shut down, and the ship was buried in secret. The ocean whispered above. But deep below, in total darkness, the Vault of Eden opened for the first time in 72 years. Inside, ancient tech blinked to life. Screens showed blueprints of warships that had never been built, satellite maps from secret Earth missions, faded footage of humans defeating alien fleets in classified battles. Silas Morn stood in the center, alone, or so it seemed. "Vault systems online," the AI intoned. "Warning. Project Eclipse is sealed for planetary safety. Opening file may trigger extinction protocols." Morn smiled. That's the idea. He wasn't here to protect Earth. He was here to punish it. Above the surface, Jake Murphy guided the Wraith of Earth down through the storm. The sea roared, rain slicing across the hull. He braced as the ship plunged into the waves. Submerging now. Coordinates locked. Vault entrance detected. Jake gripped the controls. His face was set like stone. Old pain burned in his chest. Morn, the man who betrayed them all. Back then, he had pretended to save Earth. But really, he'd stolen data, sabotaged peace talks, and triggered a war that cost millions of lives, including Jake's daughter. Jake's voice was quiet but heavy. Not this time. At EarthGov HQ, Commander Ayla Wren faced a hard choice. Lieutenant Dara showed her a hologram. 3 red dots blinked under the ocean. Wraith E-03 is active. Multiple combat drones. He's not alone anymore. Ayla's heart sank. How many? Too many for one ship, even Murphy's. Ayla made the call. Send in Ghost Fleet Unit 9. Tell Elias Crow he's cleared for live combat. Full authorization. Dara hesitated. We're really waking Unit 9. We don't have a choice. In a hidden asteroid field near Mars, Elias Crow stood aboard Wraith E-02, staring at the combat screen. His officers were prepping weapons. Jake's going in alone, one said. Crow nodded. He always does. But Morn. I know Morn, Crow snapped. He doesn't want to fight. He wants a scene. Something the galaxy can't ignore. He turned to the crew. We're going to back him up, but not just as soldiers, as ghosts. Jake's ship slipped through an underwater trench lined with metal ruins, broken drones, decayed hulls, pieces of a war Earth had buried. Then he saw it, the vault. Massive, rusted, half sunk into the seabed. Its old lights flickered as if trying to remember their purpose. The bay doors opened. Jake landed inside. No alarms, no guards, just silence. That was the first warning. Jake stepped out in full armor, pulse rifle ready. He moved through the halls like a shadow, his breath steady, controlled. He passed ancient command panels, cryopods filled with failed experiments, and rusted mech chutes still dripping seawater. Then he saw him. Silas Morn. Alive. And not surprised. You came, Morn said. I was hoping you would. Jake raised his weapon. Don't move. Morn smiled. Always the soldier, still fighting wars for people who forgot you. Jake's voice cracked slightly. You caused this. No, Morn said. They did. Earth silenced its own protectors, hid the truth. I just woke it up. Behind him, a strange console hummed. Jake noticed the screen. Project TEC INITIALIZing. He stepped forward. What are you doing, Morn? Showing the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. Jake shook his head. That's not power. That's vengeance. Morn's smile faded. You lost a daughter, didn't you? Jake froze. Think I didn't read your file. Morn continued. She died because Earth made peace with liars. With cowards. I'm making sure no one ever forgets what happens when you cross us. Jake aimed. Step away from the console. Morn moved. Toward it. Jake fired. But his bullets stopped midair, frozen. The console had already activated a gravity field. Jake was thrown backward. Back on the surface, the sea shook. Something massive was rising from the deep. Commander Ayla Wren watched satellite feeds in horror. It wasn't just the vault. She looked more tired than usual. Her hands shook. Jake noticed. You okay? She nodded slowly. Just overworked. We have bigger problems. She tapped a hologram. This is who helped Morn. We enhanced the vault footage. The face appeared. It was someone Jake hadn't seen in years. Dr. Elric Vaughn, EarthGov's head of advanced weapons, the man who built most of the Wraith systems. A scientist, a genius, and now, a traitor. Jake whispered. He always hated the Council, said peace was a lie. Ayla added, now he wants to restart the war. With Morn. Somewhere far from Earth, in a hidden lab beneath a shattered moon, Dr. Elric Vaughn watched the old Earth footage. Human cities burning. Alien ships falling. The final broadcasts of lost colonies. He smiled. Morn failed to launch Eclipse, a voice said behind him. It was Silas Morn, bruised, wrapped in bandages. Vaughn replied, yes, but the signal still reached them. Morn stared out the viewport. You really believe the architects will help us? Vaughn grinned. They don't help. They cleanse. And Earth has forgotten who first built the stars. He handed Morn a small cube. Inside it pulsed a red crystal, older than Earth's sun. The beacon is ready. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the Ghost Fleet's main base, Elias Crow called a secret meeting. 4 other captains joined him. All veterans, all dangerous. Crow said only one thing. We've been lied to. Earth didn't bury its secrets. It buried its sins. He showed them the vault data Jake had recovered. Files labeled. Project Dominion. Ag Collapse 03. Architect Contact. Level 0 clearance. What the hell is this? One captain whispered. Crow replied, proof that Earth made contact with something before the Council ever did, and then erased it. Someone asked, what do we do? Crow's answer was cold. We stop another war, even if we have to fight Earth itself. In low orbit, a Cathmar scout ship floated silently. Its commander, Vraxen, stared at the Earth feeds with disbelief. The humans, they awakened one of their dead fleets. His second-in-command hissed, that violates the Council's peace pact. Vraxen nodded slowly. We should report. But he stopped. Because just then, they saw it. A second signal. This time, it came from the moon. It wasn't from humans. It wasn't from Morn. It was from something else. And it whispered in ancient code. The architects have returned. Ayla Wren stared out her office window. Earth looked peaceful tonight. Too peaceful. She remembered the last time the sky burned. The day she lost her sister to an alien bombing run. She had joined EarthGov to protect the peace. But now she didn't know if peace was even real. Jake entered, his face grim. They're coming, Ayla. Whoever the architects are, they've heard the signal. Ayla nodded. Then we prepare Earth. Jake hesitated. One more thing. He handed her a small data drive. Crow thinks Earth lied to all of us. This proves it. She took it slowly. What's on it? Jake answered quietly. Our real history. A hidden ship was waking, buried for decades under the seabed, big enough to eclipse a mountain. Old Earth military called it Titanus Rex, one of Earth's lost city killers. Crow, do you copy? She shouted into comms. A dreadnought is surfacing. You need to intercept. Crow's voice came back. On it. Weapons hot. Ghosts inbound. Inside the vault, Jake pulled himself up. Sparks rained down. The console now glowed red. Eclipse protocol was at 78%. He ran toward the override panel. Morn stepped in front of it. No weapon, just calm fury. You'll stop the one thing that can save humanity. Jake stared at him. Humanity doesn't need fear to survive. It needs memory. Then remember this, Morn growled, and activated the final key. 99%, 100%. A low rumble filled the vault. Above them, Titanus Rex fully awakened. Its hull split open. Hundreds of dark drones poured out. Ag-controlled. Ruthless. Earth's forgotten wrath. Reborn. The sky lit with streaks of fire. Wraith E-02 and its escorts broke into atmosphere, engines howling. Crow gave the order. Disable the dreadnought. Do not destroy it. Murphy's still down there. Explosions filled the sea. The drones rose like a swarm. A real war had begun. Back inside the vault, Jake was bleeding. But he got to the emergency panel. He entered a code only Ghost Fleet captains knew. ECOVERID. QONFIREM CODE. Dawn. He whispered, "Dawn." The system paused. Override accepted. Power cut instantly. Above, Titanus Rex froze mid-move. The drones went still. Morn turned, fury on his face. "You always ruin everything." Jake raised his weapon one last time. "Because I remember what matters." And he fired. Silas Morn should have died in that vault. But he didn't. Jake Murphy's final shot hit his chest dead on, tearing through armor, burning through flesh. But behind him, an emergency escape pod had already activated. As Jake collapsed from exhaustion, Morn was pulled into darkness, bleeding, broken, but not dead. Far above the ocean, satellites watched as something even more dangerous happened. A coded signal shot into space. It was fast, encrypted, almost invisible. But someone received it, and that someone was not from Earth. Commander Ayla Wren stared at the screen in disbelief. Who the hell did he call? Lieutenant Dara whispered, "Ma'am, I tracked the signal. It didn't go to the Cathmar, or any council world." Then where? It went outside the mapped galaxy, into the void. Ayla's voice dropped. "That's impossible. No one lives there." Dara shook her head. "Maybe not." But someone just answered. In the dead of space, far beyond known stars, a machine world stirred. Its core was black metal and silence. No cities, no light, just a deep hum, pulsing through forgotten structures. Then the signal came. A voice echoed inside the machine world. "Earth protocol activated. Eclipse is breached. We remember." And deep in the world's crust, eyes opened. They were not human. They were not alien. They were something older. The Architects. Back on Earth, Jake woke up in a medbay. His body ached. His ribs were cracked. His armor was gone. Elias Crow stood beside him. "You almost died again," Crow said. Jake groaned. "I'll try harder next time." Crow gave a small smile, then turned serious. Morn escaped. Jake sat up fast. Where? No one knows, but Ayla thinks he had help. From inside EarthGov. Jake clenched his jaw. Someone let him in. Someone wanted Eclipse activated. Crow nodded. "We need to find the traitor. Fast." Jake looked up. "Then take me to HQ. At EarthGov Command." Ayla met them at the entrance. "Was it worth it?" he whispered. "Fighting their wars, following orders, getting nothing but silence in return." "You were not silent today," the AI replied. Jake closed the case and turned back toward the cockpit. "No, I wasn't. And I'm not done yet." On a moon near Alpha Centauri, a man named Elias Crow stood before a massive cryo chamber. Frost crept down its glass. He placed his hand on the activation pad. "Confirming user, Commander Elias Crow. Ghost Fleet status. Dormant. Vault 3 ready." The lights flickered on. Inside the chamber, dozens of sleeping warriors floated in frozen sleep. Human. Augmented. Unofficial. Forgotten. Until now. "Wake them," Crow said. "The galaxy forgot what we are. Let's remind them." The Peace Fleet above Earth received a new command. Engage containment. All Earth-based military satellites are to be disabled. Neutralize unauthorized transmissions. Commander Talek hesitated. "We're disabling Earth's defense net." "By order of the Council," said the voice on the comms. "But they haven't fired a shot." "Do it, before they do." Jake received a signal mid-course. Encrypted. Only the Wraith could read it. "Fleet 2 activated. Crow is online. Prepare to link." Jake closed his eyes. Crow. The last person he ever wanted to fight beside again. They had history. But now history was calling them back. He opened the comms. "Crow, it's Murphy." A crackling reply came through. "Took you long enough, Jake. Thought you were done playing hero." "I was," Jake said. Then the stars caught fire again. Earth's skies lit up that night. Satellites exploded in bursts of light. Civilian communications blacked out. News channels went dead. And then, on every screen, a single message appeared in white text. They feared us for a reason. Earth was silent, not weak. Now the silence is broken. The Council declared Earth a level gray security threat. All trade routes were closed. All interstellar flights were canceled. Human colonies beyond Council reach were cut off. Zeltrak spoke to the chamber. We gave them peace, and they turned it into armor. We let them survive, and they built ghosts. We must act. But deep beneath Earth's oceans, another Warship vessel woke up. Wraith E-03. Status: cursed. Pilot: classified. Inside the chamber, a body sat upright. Not entirely alive. Not entirely human. And it whispered something. Jake, is that you? Under the dark waves of Earth's southern ocean, a storm raged above. But deep below, in the pitch-black depths, Wraith E-03 had fully awakened. Its hull was blacker than night. No windows, no lights, just sharp edges and strange curves like it was grown, not built. Inside the cryo chamber, the figure sat up slowly. He was once human, but now something else. His name, Commander Silas Morn, one of Earth's best tactical minds. Also, one of its greatest betrayals. His body had been rebuilt after the last war. Synthetic muscles, neural implants. They fused memory. Earth had sealed him away, fearing what he might become. But now, someone had reactivated him. In a secure war room beneath the Himalayas, Commander Ayla Wren stared at a glowing red alert on her screen. Wraith E-03. Active. Pilot: Silas Morn. Blacklisted. Status: dangerous. Protocol: TURNATAFENJGG. Lieutenant Dara paled. Ma'am, he wasn't supposed to ever wake up. Ayla's voice was cold. Someone overrode the system. Should we alert Murphy? No, she said after a long pause. Not yet. If Morn is active, then we have bigger problems. She stood up and looked at the old holographic map of Earth's hidden war programs. Check Vault 7. I want to know if anyone else has been unsealed. Dara typed rapidly. Her face turned pale again. Vault 7 is empty. Whoever woke Morn stole more than just him. As they approached the moon, comms died. Lights flickered. The hull screamed under pressure. Then they saw it. Vault Theta's dome, glowing red, alien symbols carved into its structure, and a humanoid figure standing atop it. Silas Morn, alive, waiting. They landed rough, just outside the vault. No backup, no drones, just them. Inside, the walls pulsed with architect code. The red crystal now floated in midair, humming with psychic energy. Morn stood beside it, calm. You're too late, he said. The architects have accepted us. Humanity is becoming something greater. Jake raised his weapon. Greater doesn't mean better. Morn's eyes flashed. Better than what? Earth? The Council? You think they ever wanted us as equals? He stepped forward, unafraid. They used us. So did Earth. At least the architects understand our pain. Ayla stepped in. No, Morn. They don't feel pain. They don't feel anything. They're just feeding off ours. Crow threw the EMP bomb. Too late. The signal surge. Across Earth, people began convulsing, seeing strange visions. Cities made of bones, oceans of screaming metal, memories of lives they never lived. Some fought. Some begged. Some changed. The architects were awakening buried code within human DNA. Back in the vault, Jake lunged at Morn. They fought, hard and brutal. No armor, just fists and rage. Morn was strong, fueled by belief. Jake was stronger, fueled by loss. He slammed Morn against the console, breaking the link. The red crystal fell. Ayla caught it. She stared into it and saw everything. The lies, the history, the truth of Earth's deals with the architects. She screamed, then smashed the crystal. It shattered with a shriek like breaking stars. The vault went dark. The signal stopped. On Earth, the people recovered. The black sphere beyond Pluto paused. Then, silently, it left. The architects withdrew, not in defeat, but in recognition. Jake, Crow, and Ayla stood in the ruined vault. Morn was unconscious, broken. Crow whispered, "Is it over?" Jake looked up. No, for years he thought Earth had moved on. Forgotten the ones who fought in the shadows. Forgotten people like him. Now, maybe not. He powered up the Wraith. Set course for Earth. But before he could leave, the Wraith's alarms went wild. Incoming fleet. 32 ships. Transponder. Council peacekeepers. Jake cursed. They moved faster than I thought. He didn't want to fight again. Not fellow humans. Not innocent patrols. He activated stealth mode. The ship faded from view. The Council fleet dropped out of hyperspace minutes later. One of the ships opened a channel. "This is Commander Talek of the Galactic Peace Division. Stand down, unidentified vessel. You are in violation of galactic weapons law." Jake didn't respond. Talek continued, "We don't want war, but we will fire if provoked." Jake sighed. "You should have come when the Vidians screamed." He switched off the comm. Dark space wrapped around the Wraith of Earth like a shadow made of steel. Jake Murphy sat in the pilot's seat, eyes locked on the radar. The Galactic Peace Fleet was scanning the region, trying to find him. 32 ships, all armed, all legal, all blind. The Wraith's stealth tech was far beyond their understanding. It didn't just hide the ship, it erased it. No heat signature, no gravity wave, not even a reflection. "They're hunting you," the AI said quietly. "I know," Jake replied. "You could destroy them all." "I know that too. Why don't you?" Jake stared at the radar. So many ships, so many lives. "They're not the enemy," he said. "They're just scared. Fear leads to war, and war leads to extinction." Jake didn't answer. Back on Earth, Commander Ayla Wren stood at a mountain balcony, looking into the sky. The secret military facility hummed with life behind her. Engineers rushed. Satellites came online. Power grids glowed. Lieutenant Dura approached. "Ma'am, we've decrypted Murphy's location. He's close, but he's being hunted." "By who?" "The Council." Ayla's face went hard. "Of course. The moment a human fights back, they call it a crime. Should we extract him?" "No. He knows what he's doing. But we send a message." "To who?" "To the people," she said. "Earth has been quiet too long." Within hours, every hidden relay, underground node, and blacklisted communication tower on Earth buzzed to life. A coded message spread across colonies, spaceports, and distant mining stations. "Project Wraith is active. The Ghost Fleet sleeps no longer. Earth remembers. Stand by." In the Galactic Council, panic grew. Ambassador Zeltrak slammed a claw on the table. "What did I warn you? They've planned this. That ship wasn't a rogue act. It was Phase 1. The human delegate tried to argue. "We don't know that. Earth has been peaceful for decades. Then why are they waking their dead projects?" Zeltrak growled. "They built weapons under your nose. Now they're sending messages." The hologram in the center updated. Now there were 3 blinking dots. Not just Wraith E01, but 2 others. Somewhere in deep space, someone was activating long-dormant tech. Jake had reached a safe zone in a distant asteroid belt. The Wraith docked in a tiny crevice, hidden and silent. He walked to the storage chamber where an old locker still sat, sealed shut. He opened it slowly. Inside was a metal case. He lifted it. Heavy. Cold. He opened it. Inside, a necklace, a photo, and a faded patch with the symbol of the Ghost Fleet, a black skull surrounded by stars. Jake stared at the photo. A young woman smiled back at him. His daughter. Gone. Killed in a colony bombing 20 years ago. He had never forgiven himself.